Yo, 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 yo. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn Show, man. Today is the first day of November, man. Hopefully we can get things on track, man. It's been a very, very slow start for myself in the NBA. Yesterday, it just continued. One really, really like big play that I like. Not big play, but I haven't played anything big yet. But one play that I really, really liked yesterday was the Indiana team total. The Atlanta team total under, and Indiana came out and played absolutely no defense. The Hawks got whatever it is that they wanted, finished the game with damn near 130 points last night. So I was wrong on that. It's not the greatest October, man. Not the greatest October at all. But new month, hopefully it brings some abundance because I need it, man. I do need it. Hopefully you guys made some money. Let's jump into it for today, man. What up, 77 Figures? Appreciate you for being here. Jay Sunshines, good morning, bro. What up, Prolific? Appreciate you for tapping in as well. He's just up early on a Saturday. These kids, bro, I've been up looking at this card. I fell asleep last night looking at the card and then woke up this morning super early, just hours like looking at the card. 77 Figures said, shout out Blazers. We talked about the Blazers yesterday. I probably should have got there. Smash the Pell game's over. I talked about that yesterday too. I don't know, man. I just don't like making a lot of bets. I need to start making more. I need to start making more so I can at least split. But these 0-1 nights, these 0-2 nights, they're really, really crushing me, man. What's up, Brian? Appreciate you for tapping in. Kawhi with the nasty game. That was a nice game winning last night. And then Chai says, being cautious today with the injuries. News, not putting my first play in until 5:09. The first game starts at 5:10. It's a good one. All right, let's jump into it for today, man. So first up, we'll start with Jackson, AI Sports Betting Tool, as always. Yesterday, Jackson liked Mikal Bridges over his rebounds and assists. I think the line was set at like 7.5, and he did go over that number. I said I like that play too. I should have probably just told Jackson that was a winner. The other play was John Collins over his boards, and that was a loser. He finished with I think he finished with 3 boards, and Jackson liked him over 5.5. He had hit that line every single game, but when you are giving up 125 points to the Pelicans, 124, whatever it is that they got, you're not going to be able to get too many rebounds. So that ended up being a loser. 1-1 day for Jackson yesterday. Let's see what Jackson likes today. So first look up, I wanted to ask Jackson what is the best player prop for today based on this year's numbers again. Jackson Pascal Siakam over his 1.5 3-point makes. It says that he's dramatically increased his 3-point volume and efficiency this season, making this line too low based on current production. He's hit the over 1.5 in 100% of his 5 games this season, averaging 2.4 made 3-pointers. He's hit the over in 100% of his 5 games and 80% of his last 10, consistently exceeding this 1.5 line. This means his mean of 2.4 made threes over his last 5 games is well above the required threshold. Pascal Siakam will have to do a little bit of everything today, man, as he has had to over the last few games. So that's the player prop look. I wanted to give you guys something different today as well. So I asked Jackson for the actual prompt here is what about the best spread pick for the NBA today? Provide detailed analysis. So not that I'm gonna read all of it, but Jackson looks like it likes the Detroit Pistons minus 7.5 on the spread. It says I am confidently recommending the Detroit Pistons minus 7.5 against the Dallas Mavericks. This pick is driven by the Mavericks' early season struggles and absences combined with the Pistons' surprisingly solid start and a slight lean from sharp betting action. Kind of like this as well. And I do see it. I think most of the 7.5s are gone, but you still can get a couple 7.5. So the Pistons have been described in news reports as solid, yet unspectacular through the first week of the season, but their 3-2 record is a strong indicator of their ability to be able to handle business, especially at home where they're 2-1, which they're not at home. They're playing in Mexico City today. But so we have the early season woes for the Mavs. It says the Mavs are off to a disappointing 2-3 start. The struggles are compounded by the absence of their lack of offensive cohesion early on. Absence impact. So news reports highlight that the Mavericks had a tough start in Kyrie's absence, while the team has other offensive weapons. The loss of their primary playmaker and scorer like Irvin significantly impacts their ability to keep pace, especially against a team that is playing disciplined basketball. The Mavs' road performance. So the Mavs have yet to secure a road win on the season, but they haven't played any either, making this a real difficult test for their first game. facing a solid team like the Pistons in their first road game makes covering a large spread pretty difficult. So then there's some Detroit stability versus Dallas instability, some spread value, just talking about the line movement, and then the overall conclusion. So that's what Jackson's talking about for today. I kind of like Detroit to be able to get Dallas out of there too, but we'll talk about the game. As always, link is in the description if you guys want to check Jackson out for whatever it is that you want to bet. Let's jump into the games. So the first one we have on the board is the Kings and the Bucks. And I'm again, I mean, if you've been, like somebody that's paid attention to the show over the last couple of years, especially the last 2 years, like the injury report manipulation and the questionable tags, like I just kind of like want to skip over those games. I'm not going to put a whole bunch of thought into these games if I don't know, if I legitimately don't know and don't even have a strong take on who's going to play. Yesterday, I told you guys that I thought that Luka was going to get pump faked and wasn't going to play. Luka ended up getting ruled in, upgraded to probable, then ended up playing and ended up dropping 40 again yesterday. So I'm not even going to try to guess with these injury reports. And the reason why I say that is because Giannis is listed as questionable in this game, right? He didn't play, of course, in their most recent game against the Golden State Warriors. Kevin Porter Jr. also going to be out. I think it was like 4 to 6 weeks, maybe something like that. And then on the other side, you also got no Keegan Murray, of course. He hasn't played yet for Sacramento. And then Malik Monk is listed as out. He's out for personal reasons. And then Nate Clifford is also listed as questionable. So it's the injury report is kind of sketchy, man. For the Kings, it'll be their third straight road game of a 4-game road trip. And then the Bucks, very impressive so far. They've covered their last 4 games as a dog. They won and covered their first game of the season as well against the Washington Wizards. They were favorites in that game, ended up covering that as well. And they played the Kings really, really tough. They won 9 of the last 10. They covered both games last season. The Kings have actually lost 17 of the last 18 meetings against the Bucks. But if you're in Milwaukee, you do got a little bit of a look-ahead spot on deck on Monday. They go to Indiana to play against the Pacers, and we know the Pacers put them out of the playoffs last season. So it could be a little bit of a look-ahead spot. The number was, I think it was 6.5 last night. It has come down to 6. 6 last night. Come down to 5.5 now. And the total is only going up, 131.5 up to 133. If Giannis plays, I do think that the Bucks should be able to score, specifically on the interior. One thing I noticed though is the Kings' 3-point defense has actually been pretty good this season. Like they're not really slouching too much defensively from the 3-point line. When I was looking into the numbers, I know the Kings will be hungry for, at least a cover. They haven't really been able to win. I'm really not big on this Kings team. But I think them getting the points here really just depends if Giannis is going to play, honestly. I have no idea what to do with this game. I will say this real quick. The start time for this game definitely benefits the Bucks because the Kings, a West Coast team that used to playing at 10 o'clock, 10:30 Eastern Standard Time, is going to be playing this game at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time today. So that does benefit the Bucks. We'll see if Giannis plays or not. I have no idea what to do with the game, man. And of course, Giannis affects all the player props on the Bucks side. And then on the Kings side, I guess I did see Zach LaVine had 30 against the Bulls in the last game. So maybe a look towards, DeMar DeRozan in this game to have a big game offensively, kind of, go back and forth between those two. Let's see what you guys are thinking, and we'll move on to the next. Luka definitely right back where he left off, Jay. What up, Jay, man? Appreciate you for tapping in 3 times. My guy says, good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday. Vaughn says he took Jackson idea and played John Collins, but I played his points plus rebounds. And I think that was a winner because he did end up scoring yesterday. Nice. I'm glad you cashed, Vaughn. Pascal Siakam has been on one from 3. Yeah, he's shooting a lot of 3s. I mean, he got to. They suck. Like, the Pacers are trash, man. I'm watching that game yesterday. I'm air punching. I'm just throwing punches at the air because they came out on fire. You know what? I don't want to talk about it. What up, Malik? Says, I'm on 10 after that Bulls win. Your Bulls look good, man. Yeah, I got the Knicks again coming up. That's when is that game? I think it's on Monday. Knicks and Bulls again on Monday. No, it's actually tomorrow. Yeah, it's tomorrow. I'm looking at it right now. It's tomorrow in the Mecca. So we'll see how that one goes. But yeah, your Bulls look good, man. One of 3 only undefeated teams. Vaughn says, I have a few plays in this game. Giannis points plus rebounds. His home game log versus the Kings looks like a 2K player playing on rookie. J-Man says the same thing. He'll take Giannis over his points, rebounds, and assists. Levine over his 4.5 boards. I'll get there with Jarris Walker points. I think Jarris Walker going to eventually run out of gas. I was looking at his numbers. I know that they are super depleted. They need him to play all the minutes. Of course, Indiana has a bunch of guys on the injury report. We'll talk about that game a little bit more. Over 233 for J-Man. So Jay says, yes, a pass, lean over, opened at 231.5, I believe. Yep. Dom says altitude is going to play a big role in this one. Pacers are not. I mean, they're not supposed to be good though, man. I should have kicked myself yesterday. I just thought Atlanta's offense wouldn't look as great. I thought the Pacers would play with some pride. That was the worst defensive game that we've seen from the Pacers so far. Like, they hadn't been giving up 130. Like, that was kind of out of left field. But even at the crib, Atlanta go in there, win the game by 20, only laying 2.5 yesterday. That's the way it goes sometimes, man. All right, next one up. Another game highly influenced by the injury report. So the Timberwolves, I'm looking at this line last night. I'm like, how? Timberwolves opened as 1-point favorites, and then the LaMelo Ball being listed as questionable news has now pushed this up to 5.5. Total only coming down 232.5. It looks like it's what it opened at, and it's down as low as 231.5. So real quick on the injury report, just make sure I got everything. So no Anthony Edwards, of course, for the Minnesota Timberwolves. LaMelo is listed as questionable, and then Brandon Miller, of course, continues to be out for the Charlotte Hornets as well. One thing I wanted to look at, I actually told myself I was going to do this, and then I never did. I want to look at this real quick. I'm not going to show you. Well, yeah, I'm not going to show you guys what I'm looking at, but just because I don't want to pull it up on the screen. But I'll tell you guys what I want to look at. I want to look at the Charlotte Hornets this season with Brandon Miller on and off the floor, because I'm not sure if LaMelo's going to play, but I do think this is important. So Brandon Miller on the floor, it looks like. All right, so let's remember these numbers. So the Charlotte Hornets are a plus 0.2 in offensive overall in the season. With Brandon Miller on the floor, they're plus 3.8, a 126.2 offensive rating, and a 122.4 defensive rating. So they just running up and down the floor in the what is this, 84 possessions that Brandon Miller has played so far this season. 126 and 122 offensive and defensive rating. So now with Brandon Miller off the floor, I feel like they've taken a big step back. Minus half a point as far as points per 100 possessions. Offense does come down from a 126 to a 118, and then the defensive rating is a 118, and they're in the 32nd percentile as far as defensive rating goes. So I just kind of wanted to see what that number looked like. All right, so getting into the game, Minnesota has not been great. We know that, right? They're coming into this game 0-5 against the spread so far this season, an abysmal 0-2 against the spread on the road so far this season. And they're coming off back-to-back losses, so you do expect them to be a little motivated in this game. Denver and LA both beat them. Back-to-back overs for the Lakers in the Denver games as well for this Minnesota Timberwolves team. Defensively, they've actually not looked great. I was looking into some of their defensive numbers. I'll tell you guys those in a second. And then Charlotte playing on the first leg of a back-to-back, potentially without LaMelo Ball. I want nothing to do with this team if they don't have LaMelo and don't have Brandon Miller. So I guess by default, I'd be looking towards Minnesota, even though they haven't covered a game. Minnesota did win both games last season. They covered both spreads. They were laying 9 and 11 in those games. But yeah, no LaMelo, no Charlotte for me. LaMelo's averaging 24 points, 10 assists, and 8 rebounds, damn near triple-double this season. So if Charlotte doesn't have him, I want nothing to do with Charlotte. I think Minnesota will be able to eventually get their act together. I was looking into reading about the game. It looks like Coach Chris Finch is not necessarily happy about Dante DiVincenzo not getting a lot of shots up. So I know his points prop, it still is listed a little too high for me at 15.5. But Dante DiVincenzo, he said 7 shots is not nearly enough. But he's averaging 8.5 field goal attempts per game. So Dante DiVincenzo could potentially get there. I'll show you guys one that I was looking at. I just saw that and was like, let me share that. But I'll show you guys what I was looking at. I was actually looking at Jaden McDaniels, not Jaden Daniels. This isn't the Commanders, but this is Jaden Daniels. This is Outlier, of course, as well. So these are the 2 games right here that he's played. Remember, Ant got hurt in this game right here against the Pacers in the first quarter when they were at home. But the 2 games that he's played, Jaden Daniels has played without Anthony Edwards, 25 and 30 points. Now, could he have a dud in this game? Yes. But a couple things stick out here. So back-to-back games with 25 and 30 in the games that Ant missed. 35 plus minutes. You can see that here in both games. It's a tight spread. Like 5.5 is a pretty tight spread. But then I come down here, I look at his field goal attempts. These are the 5 games. He's shooting 50% from the field, 38% from the three-point line. But look at his field goal attempts. 16 and 19 in the 2 games without Anthony Edwards. And he shot 58% last game against the Lakers and 63% against the Denver Nuggets. So I think Jaden McDaniels is in a nice spot today. Over 17.5 points for him is something that I highly consider. I haven't bet it yet, but that I actually probably should just go ahead and bet this. That I don't think that my analysis isn't going to change on this game whether LaMelo plays or not, honestly. Like the Timberwolves going to be the Timberwolves in my opinion. So I like Jaden Daniels. It could be a little bit more of a Julius Randle spot, but I think Jaden Daniels can get to 20 points in this game. And Charlotte, of course, I didn't mention this, but Charlotte plays no defense, right? I just kind of talked about that a little bit, but to put some numbers to Charlotte defensively, they are real quick. Let me share this with you guys. Charlotte they just been giving up points left and right. Not sure when they're going to get back to playing defense. Charlotte is 26th in defensive rating so far this season. In the half court defensively, they're 28th. So they're giving up a ton of points in half court as well. And they're the 3rd worst 3-point defense in the NBA, allowing teams to shoot 40% from the 3-point line. So those are my quick thoughts. I guess that wasn't too quick, but that's what I was thinking. As far as the total goes, if LaMelo plays, I do think it's an over. Sticks out because Minnesota hasn't been playing great defensively. Charlotte sucks on defense. Minnesota, surprisingly, has been pretty bad on defense. They're 28th in defensive efficiency, 24th in opponent effective field goal percentage. Charlotte is even worse at 28th in defensive efficiency. They're allowing 124.4 points per 124.5 points per game so far, which is the 3rd most in the NBA. And if Charlotte controls pace, which they're 7th in pace, I think, so far this season, Minnesota should be able to score with them, in my opinion. So this should be an up and down, like track meet type of game. I'll still be looking towards the over at 230. And a half, but you kind of want to get it. This is a 6 o'clock start time game, so you kind of want to get it when LaMelo gets rolled in, because it'll shoot up for sure. So keep those notifications on. All right, let's see what you guys are thinking here, and then we'll move on over to the next. Vaughn says, I'm with you. I definitely didn't expect Atlanta to come out looking like that. Nickeil Alexander-Walker out there doing fadeaways like he's Stackhouse. Atlanta went crazy. Yeah, somebody mentioned Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and I said it was a pretty good prop. I probably should have just played that. I also said, Jalen Johnson assists, which was 5.5 yesterday. I think it was. He finished with 8, so maybe I should have just played the player props to stay off the side in that game. That's a fact. It is a manipulation report for sure. Jay Sunshine says he likes McDaniels too. He's getting a high volume of shots as well. Yeah, that's McDaniels and nothing for me in that game. I'm not sure. I guess Miles Bridges' number will be super high and inflated if LaMelo doesn't play. Timberwolves eventually got to play some defense, right? They come into this game with the rest advantage. I don't know, man. I don't think they got the rest advantage. I think I think they do got a 1-day rest advantage. All right, next one up. Magic and the Wizards in DC. We start with the injury report in this one. Orlando Magic will be without Mo Wagner, who still hasn't played yet. The Wizards have nobody on the injury report. So first thing that jumped out to me in this game was, I think Orlando should be able to crush Washington. that was the first thing that jumped out to me. I don't really want to back Washington at all. I just think that they're super young, super inexperienced, and unless they have like some kind of significant advantage, like as far as like situational spot, I don't really want to be a part of this team. It's too many things that could go wrong for the Washington Wizards, in my opinion. Orlando hasn't looked great, right? They're 2-4 straight up on the season. They did cover that last game against Charlotte the other night, and I think Charlotte is better. Charlotte's terrible defensively, but Washington is worse than them. But here's the thing: Orlando was playing 5th game in 7 nights the other night against Charlotte, but so they're still playing 3rd and 4th and 6th. It's also the 4th of a 5-game road trip for them as well. But then on the Wizards, it's the Wizards, man. They've lost 3 straight. They didn't cover against Charlotte, didn't cover against Philly, didn't cover against OKC. Defensively, they've been really, 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 really bad, and they continue to play fast. So it makes the over very, very appealing in this spot. Orlando team total last night when I was looking into this was 121.5. I think it's been bumped up to 122.5. But Washington is giving this up in 3 straight. They're the worst defensive team in the league. They're still playing super fast. Orlando has reached the number 2 of their last 3 games as well, scoring 122 points or more. And their prior history shows that last season, I think they were able to score the basketball pretty well. But Orlando's just playing a lot faster this season. And the Wizards also want to play fast. So I think if there's something that doesn't come to play in this game, it's probably going to be the Orlando Magic defense. I think the Wizards should be able to score. Like Washington, I still don't think Orlando's figured it out defensively. So I'll be looking at Orlando team total up and over. I think you can get 122.5. From a player prop perspective, it's Franz in this game. Franz over 21.5 points. He's hit the over in 2 of his last 3 games. Now he gets a Washington team that bleeds points in transition. Washington actually gives up the second most points in transition. Franz gets 36% of his points. So more than a third of his points come in transition buckets. And that's the highest on the Orlando Magic. I went back and looked at it last season. He actually played, because this is an interdivisional game, of course, as well. He played Washington. He played in all 4 games last season. He went up and over his points prop. He got to 22 at least 3 of the 4 games. So I like Franz over his points prop at 21.5. I consider Paolo. It could be a Paolo game where he goes out there and scores 30 as well. But I think Franz is in a pretty good spot. So I like Franz over his points in this game. I like Orlando team total over in this game. Staying far, far, far away from the Washington Wizards, man. Let's see what you guys are thinking here. Francis Magic versus Wizards. Pass for me. Orlando should cover, but I got to see it before I bet it. I'll take another look at the first half for Orlando, but I'm probably out on this one. Terrence Shannon could pick up versus the Hornets. He's at 6.5. That's a really good look, Jay. I do think that's a really good look. You should be able to get the 7. I feel like his minutes has been solid as well. I like that look, Jay. All right, nobody really got thoughts on Orlando, Washington. Next up, Golden State and Indiana. Line opened last night at 9. It's now up to 10.5. Total has come down from 232.5 down to 230. And if I'm being brief in this one, I agree. We just saw the Indiana Pacers look absolutely abysmal on the defensive end. They're not playing with a real NBA team, which is why they end up having to call up Mac McClung. To be a part of their rotation. It could be even worse on the injury report for today because, maybe I don't even know if they got enough players to rest anybody. But Furphy didn't play last night. There's still no Mather, and there's still no McConnell, no Andrew Nembhard, no Obi Toppin. Damn near that whole starting lineup is out, except Aaron Nesmith and Pascal Siakam. So, yeah, I mean, you also get the Warriors. They should be, looking to take this game serious after not taking the last game serious at all against the Bucks. They are playing their 4th game in 6 nights. But the Pacers are also playing 3rd and 4 as well. They still don't have a win this season. They started the season 0-5. And they got the Bucks up next on Monday. So it's not a great spot. The Pacers have played the Warriors tough recently, but I don't really think that matters a lot when you're looking at this depleted version of the roster. Pacers have actually beaten the Warriors, though, 3 straight times. So take with that information, do what you want. If I'm betting the game, I'm looking at the Pacers team total under 109.5. That really stuck out to me because of the situational spot. You got Golden State coming off an embarrassing loss to the Bucks without Giannis. I expect them to take the defensive end a little bit more serious. They do rank 12th in defensive rating so far this season. The Warriors do. Indiana, of course, playing second leg of back-to-back, but also 3rd game in 4 nights. And then the Indiana Pacers also second worst offensive rated team so far this season. Second worst scoring offensively as well, and dead last in effective field goal percentage. They just don't have enough to get it done, in my opinion. Indiana is right outside the top 10 in 3-point attempts, but they're shooting a bunch of threes, but they're second worst in 3-point field goal percentage at 31.4% so far this season. So Warriors is a big number, but that's the only way that I would be able to look. I actually found, let's see if I still got it up. Yeah, I found this trend. I'll share my screen real quick and share this with you guys as well. If you could have got the 9 last night, it's a much better number, but it is what it is. So this is Give Me the Dog. So beside my face right over here, this just says since the 2023 season, I was looking at teams that are playing their 4th game in 6 nights, but also on the second leg of a back-to-back. and they previously hold on. Oh no, this is the wrong game. There was a trend that I had to back the Warriors. Let's see real quick if I can find it. Maybe not. There was a trend that I found though. That was backing the Warriors. It was like previous, like the team you want to back the team that just lost as a favorite. You want to back the team that just lost as a favorite. When they have more rest than their opponent is also playing on a second leg of a back-to-back, and you're a road favorite. Some reason it's just not loading right now for whatever reason. But yeah, it's been pretty profitable. I think it was about 58%. So that's my thought process. Let's see what you guys are thinking here. J-Man says he'll just play Steph over his 24.5 points. Neesmith under his 20.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Dom says Warriors team total over for Jay. Over 121. Warriors probably going to win by 50. Yeah, I think if you like the Warriors, you just take them. The longer the game goes on, the more it favors them. They don't have a game tomorrow, so I think the next game is against Denver. I could be wrong. I feel like their next game is definitely on the West Coast. I'm not sure who it is though. I think this is the last of the East Coast for the Warriors. Vaughn says, want to throw this out there, Chris. When you mentioned a player prop that you haven't dug into yet, just kind of off knowing the team is struggling versus that position. Props been hitting at a high rate. I know I got to start playing them more. I'm gonna put a couple dollars on Jaden McDaniels today, and I'm gonna put a couple dollars on Franz too. I really like those two a lot, just based on like my research that I did. Jay says that team total makes a lot of sense. Indy could come out flat, kind of like the Pacers team total under, full game under. Vaughn says 77 figures says I think Carlisle likes coaching a G League talent, to be honest. They desperate. Pacers plus 11. Kerr will call off the dogs in the fourth quarter. Backdoor cover, maybe. I don't know. I kind of feel like if you like the Pacers, you want to play them early. But they didn't even look good. They didn't cover the first quarter or the first half yesterday either. So the Pacers have just looked kind of bad, man. I don't know, man. Dom says Ben Shepherd over his 4.5 boards. It was juice last night, and he ended up with 7. Like it again tonight. Okay. Brian says, good morning, Chris. Tough day for me yesterday. I only got Chicago Bulls right. My goodness, let's fight today. Yeah, got to do something, man. Buddy Hill over his threes for Jay. Brian says, I like Golden State here, minus the 10. Yeah, it's the only way to look. I know it's a lot of points delay, but you got to find some way to get in on the Warriors. Either play their defense for the Pacers team team total to go under, we just lay the number. I really feel like it's that simple. What's up, Free Sauce? Appreciate you for tapping in. All right, let's keep moving. Rockets and the Celtics line opened 4.5 last night. I first saw that 4.5 right after the Boston Celtics beat the Philadelphia 76ers last night. We start with the injury report, and the Rockets will continue to be without Dorian Finney-Smith. Of course, no Fred VanVleet. Celtics can, of course, add people to the injury report, but Jason Tatum is the only person listed on the report right now. So this one, I told you guys yesterday I was going to be on the Rockets in this game, and I didn't deviate from that at all. It's actually the only thing that I played so far is the Rockets. I did get the 4.5 as soon as it opened. It's up to 5.5. Actually moving to 6 now. Okay, so it's moving to 6. Total has skyrocketed down. I guess shot down. Shouldn't say skyrocket. That goes up. Has plummeted down 232 all the way down to 225.5. So we got a Rockets team that's 3-1 against the spread so far this season. They're also a perfect 2-0 against the spread on the road. Those games they did play some pretty weak competition on the road so far, but they come into this game with a 2-day rest advantage. They have back-to-back wins against Brooklyn and Toronto. 2 really good offensive showings for the Rockets as well, 137 and 139. Now, of course, you got to take into consideration the teams that they've been playing against. Brooklyn and Toronto are bottom 5 defensive rated teams, I'm pretty sure. And then on the Boston side of things, they do come in with 3 straight wins as well. But they had to play to the buzzer last night versus Philly to win that game by 1 point. And of course, this travel, back from Philly. This is not what you want to see if you like Boston. Second leg of back-to-back with travel, also playing their fourth game in 6 nights, third and 4, fourth and 6, and fifth and 7. Jaylen Brown, Derek White, Peyton Pritchard all played north of 30-plus minutes last night. I just think it's a spot where Boston does run out of gas. You got Ime Udoka going back to Boston as well. So then when I started looking into the actual X's and O's, Houston, all of a sudden, number 1 rated offensive team in the NBA. First in offensive rebound rate, first in free throw rate. The last 2, I think, could be problematic for Boston as well, since they're allowing the second most offensive rebounds. Houston should be able to dominate the boards in this spot. The Boston Celtics are also fouling at the 5th highest rate in the NBA as well. So Houston should be able to get to the free throw line, score a bunch of points. I think their team total is also worth a look if you don't want to lay the points. 115.5, I think, is the number. And I think Boston is going to continue to push the pace and fly up and down the floor. Houston also not playing super slow as well. The one thing that concerns me just a little bit here is that Houston has struggled to protect the basketball. They're 25th in turnover rate, and Boston is actually forcing teams to turning teams over at the 5th highest rate so far this season. So that's a little troublesome, but I do think the Rockets win the game. If they're going to win, they're going to win by 8 to 10, in my opinion. And if they're not going to cover this 5.5 or 6-point spread, whatever you can get the number at, probably lose the game outright. I don't think it's going to be close one way or another, though. So that's my thought process on the game. Didn't really look into player props because I knew I wanted the Rockets, and I gave it out as a 1-unit play, but I'm pretty sized in on the Rockets in this spot. So that's my thought process. Let's see what you guys are thinking. Let's see. Malik says Warriors turn the ball over too. Too much to trust the spread. Okay. What else y'all saying? Can only look towards Houston here. Vaughn says I'm taking McDaniels today. You talked about Jalen Johnson assists. You do too much research for me not to. Yeah, I know. Even if I don't play it, I write it down. That's a fact. It's all written down in my notes too. I got a Google Doc that has everything that I ever talk about, all listed in my Google Doc. Aaron says Boston about to run headfirst into a brick wall. I hope so. I definitely hope so. Jay says light sprinkle on the Warriors to win all quarters. Okay. KD under his 25.5 points for J-Man. Vaughn says I think the Rockets can dominate the glass and cover. Mad I missed the best of the number. 77 Figures says Udoka versus Missoula is always must-see TV. Don't trust the Rockets covering on the road. I understand it. Let's go Rockets. All right, next one up. Last game on the board is the Mavs and the Pistons. I almost forgot that this game was going to be played in Mexico City. Open 6.5, up to 7.5, some 8s as well. Total actually 233, or I thought I saw 233, but I'm seeing 223. So maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I was tripping last night when I was looking at this. But it's either way, it's at 227.5 now. The big part about this game, so first let's start with the injury report, because you always got to start with the injury report. So Dallas is going to be super short-handed. No AD. Of course, he's going to be out for a couple games. No Exum, no Lively, no Kyrie. Gafford's listed as questionable. He has yet to play a game so far this season. So if he plays, it may be in limited capacity, and they probably end up bringing what's the guy named, the light-skinned guy off the bench? I can't think of his name. It'll come to me in a second. They'll probably end up bringing him off the bench. And D'Angelo Russell is listed as questionable. And D'Lo's injury, what is D'Lo's injury? Left knee contusion. Man, he'd be all right. He can play. We'll see. I think D'Angelo gonna play, but I don't know how bad that left knee contusion is. Detroit on the other side of things will be pretty healthy. Marcus Sasser could potentially play in this game. He's listed as questionable. Jaden Ivey is the only person listed as out for them. So, I mean, this one was pretty easy for me. When I think about Dallas, they're 2-3. I think straight up and against the spread so far this season. Interestingly enough for them, this will be their first game that they're not playing in Dallas. They started the season off on a 5-game homestand. And the Detroit Pistons, 3-2 against the spread so far this season. This is not, it's quote unquote a home game for them, even though they won't be at home. They'll be in Mexico City. Last season, the team split. I don't even think none of that stuff really matters, though, because the rosters have had so much turnover, or at least the Dallas rosters had so much turnover. And Luka was on the team when they played against Detroit last season. But this Dallas team, you start looking at the individual stuff, right? Dallas is the worst offense in the NBA. They're second worst in effective field goal percentage. They get the fewest offensive rebounds, and they turn it over at the 7th highest rate. Meanwhile, Detroit is, I think they're 9th defensively, 3rd in opponent effective field goal percentage. I think they'll be turned up for this game, man. Back to Dallas, though. They're 28th in three-point frequency and accuracy as well. Just not able to knock down enough shots. Klay Thompson's looked like a shell of himself. Max Christie's not really knocking him down. Outside of PJ Washington, I feel like they're really struggling. And then you add in altitude, right? So I actually read this morning. Jason Kidd was asked about, participating in the preseason Mexico City game when he played back in the 90s. And, he was like, the culture of Mexico City is great. And that really stood out. The other thing that really stood out, and this is a quote, he said, oxygen, because of the altitude. He said, you get tired really quick in here. So that's the end quote. This is a 7,349 foot altitude in Mexico City, which is higher than anything that you've ever seen, in the out of the regular arenas for the NBA players. This is crazy. It's higher than, Denver and Utah. So yeah, I think that's going to weigh on the Dallas team. I think Detroit will come in here, play some good defense. I like Dallas to struggle to score. Under 109.5 feels like it's way too easy, but that's the only way that I would be able to look in this game is Dallas underneath their team total, especially without them, being able to. I think that Detroit's going to dominate the boards. If I'm betting this game, I'm laying the points with them as well. But I think Detroit's going to be able to dominate the boards. Especially if Daniel Gafford doesn't play, and if D'Angelo Russell don't play, good luck. Detroit should be able to do whatever they want to in this game, but I do think that they're going to be able to dominate the boards, and it's going to be difficult for Dallas to slow down Cade Cunningham in this spot as well, especially with them getting – I think both teams will be turned. I just think Dallas will be significantly less talented as far as like on the court stuff, on the court players go. Detroit actually looks solid in both of their wins. So that's my thought process. Didn't really look too much into the player props in that game specifically. Free Sauce says Steven Adams over 6.5 boards. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. He's averaging 16 rebound chances in 24 minutes. Damn, I like that, Free Sauce. I just talked about how Boston's a bad rebounding team. Sean says first quarter over 54.5. Both teams go crazy in the first. Talking about that last game, I think. Aaron says Mexico City games go under because of the altitude. I mean, I would have to think. It's not even just Mexico City. It's Dallas offense being the worst in the NBA. Like, maybe they pull a rabbit out of the hat today. I'm not betting on it. Let's see. Russell injury. I can't guard nobody. Cooper Flag point guard experiment is not looking great. Dom says when I made that altitude comment earlier, I was referring to this game. Those guys think Denver is bad. Yeah. And the longer the game goes on, I feel like the harder it's going to be as well. Even though I feel like I've watched some documentaries where they said it the other way around. Like it's hard. Like you kind of get into a flow of things at the beginning of the game. So it could potentially be a first half under. But the way Dallas playing basketball right now, it could be a first quarter, first half, middle of the third quarter, fourth quarter, all of it could go under. So take with that information, do what you want, man. Jay Sunshine says, be on the lookout for Brandon Williams props. I think I agree with that. He did look good in that last game. He did look good. Vaughn says the altitude is scaring me away from this game, and I have some other looks I like more. Free Sauce says he likes Duran. He should have no resistance today. Could not talk you off Duran. Duran's look really, really good, especially in the wins. As long as he stays out of foul trouble, Duran, big old muscle, looking around like he Debo from Friday. I like Jalen Duran though. He's solid. He's definitely solid for sure. All right, that's the games, man. Recap is here. Houston minus the 4.5 is not available anymore. I shouldn't probably even added that. And that was the only thing that I played so far. But I'm going to put a little bit on these player props as well, man. I just feel like I got to start making more than one play because this one play a day thing is not working well for me. Trying to play it calm and cool, but I'm going to go ahead and add I haven't played these yet, but I will be on Franz and I'll be on Jaden McDaniels as well. Indy and Dallas team total under just kind of scream. Those are things that stand out to me the most, man. Those are the things that stand out to me the most. All right, that's it for today. 8 games for tomorrow. No days off in the NBA, man. No days off. Link is all in the description, of course, for everything that I use to handicap, all of the resources. Check out Jackson, Outlier, Moneyballer, OddsJam for your sportsbook screen page. all that good stuff, man. Now that we have data, because I think every team has played at least 5 games, if not very, very close to 5 games, it should become a little bit more, little easier. Should be less guessing. Can actually start using some of the resources a little bit more and a little bit more in depth. So that's the card for today. That's the show for today, man. Best of luck on your action. Hit the like button for me on the way out. Best of luck on whatever it is you guys are playing. As always, subscribe to the channel. Enjoy your weekend. Turn the notification bell on. All that good stuff. I'll catch you guys in the next one, man.